plan in your mind as an entrepreneur, as a visionary. You should be thinking about the future on a regular basis and have a team of people that you're communicating with. So I'd almost say from the how can I improve what's working, what's not working, the 1 minute to 3 minute review, daily basis definitely. Practical written basis if you have a team, in your different team meetings on a monthly basis.
Now, again, you know, I mean, that's got to be a pretty small organization.
Well, but I would argue I've done a lot of work with executives, and on a 1 to 3 minute basis, they are analyzing the organization. Now they've got some tools. They're using financial tools as part of their balanced scorecard. They're looking at finances, the real quickie. They're looking at talent, so they're relying on their executive team. They're looking at research, and they're also looking at customer statistics. From a written, practical basis, once a quarter, semi-annually, small businesses, if you're not looking at your business plan, and there is such a thing as a one-page business plan, but I'm actually coached. It's a book. Someone else wrote the book. I'm like, darn. But it's a good book. It's a, you know, like I've been doing that kind of stuff. But they really kind of break it down into 5 components. It's literally called the one-page business plan. And for entrepreneurs that are starting out, folks that are committed to being sole proprietors, every quarter you should be reviewing that one-page business plan. Why? Because the business environment changes every 4 hours. Now we're working internationally. So if you wait until 90 days, a whole bunch of stuff has happened. And large organizations, again, through their management teams and the people that report to them, they're looking at key metrics, again, on a weekly basis, weekly staff meeting. So written business plans, I do recommend. I'm a business plan competition judge. For those of you that have a business idea and there are local business plan competitions, I would recommend that you participate in them. One, there is the opportunity to literally have the discipline of getting the plan done, of having it reviewed. Typically in business plan competition, you'll have an opportunity to get free consulting. You'll learn about resources in your community. And if you're able to get past the executive summary and the business plan competition, the written part, you typically have an opportunity to present in front of a panel of judges. And they, in many cases, become advocates that you never knew, who are well connected in the community, who can be on an advisory team, and or may know someone who does business, who wants to do business with you. When I facilitate entrepreneur classes, I'm always looking and listening to how people are presenting themselves. Why? Because they may be businesses that I do business with. And part of usually when I facilitate an entrepreneur class, I spend anywhere between $100 and $500 doing business with those students. Because I think it's important, when you talk about getting that first client, it's important to have the opportunity to actually start from concept to customer request to getting it done on time and budget, and then follow. I heard a few of you say, I'm thinking about a business. Again, if you want to be an entrepreneur, do that one-page business plan. Put yourself, say, I am in business now. What does my management team look like? What's the 1 or 2 page executive summary? And what service will I provide or product will I provide? And what does it look like? How am I different than everybody else? You might want to do something called a SWOT analysis. S for strengths. Okay, I see heads nodding. What's the W for? Weaknesses. So strengths and weaknesses are what? Who are we looking at? We're looking at the outside world? Inside. So inside you as the owner, inside you as the company, then there's opportunities and threats. Where are we looking in that case? External. External. Weaknesses and threats are what? They're negatives. They're risks. Strengths and opportunities are positives. Those are where you begin to identify your competitive advantage. Again, a lot of people provide similar services. We could have a bunch of coaches, and initially the BDPA Coach Alliance, we were kind of like, well, but you do what I do, but she does what she does, but we all kind of do the same thing. So I admit, just for a millisecond there was the kind of, well, do we want to all work together? And then our good sense popped in and we're like, yes we do, we want to be the BDPA coaches. Back off anybody else that didn't get it. So, and then we said we need to identify what makes us unique and how can we serve the members. Okay, performance. Price. How you're going to price yourself. In addition to choosing your ideal client, so you focus on that, your demographics, age, gender, zip code, amount of revenues generated, etc. You also want to look at psychographics. It sounds kind of scary, it's really not. It's why people buy. So you want to know that about your ideal client. Listen into it. Psycho, as in a crazy person, but it's psycho, like psychology. Graphics. So it's the data around why your ideal customer would buy. And often it really helps get at the heart of what's the problem, what's the situation. It looks at where are they currently buying? Why do they buy from that? Is it convenience? Is it timing? Is it price point? But in terms of price point, you need to be very careful, just as when you're choosing that first customer. And that's why in the volunteer contract, I recommend putting in your rate. Because if you start off and say, I'm really good at something, but I'm not going to charge, there's a possibility of miscommunication. People might think, well, you're going to do it for free all the time. And if you start with friends and family who are often convenient, they're like, he's going to do it all the time. Headache. So I have a policy, of course, it's not true with BDPA members, but with friends and family, when they pull that friend card or that family card, you talk about pulling the race card, friend and family card, I go, ooh, let's mark it up by 3. Because they're going to be a pain in the neck. Okay. And I'll tell them, oh, you want the special service because you're a friend or family. Well, that would be triple the price. And they're like, but, and I'm like, no, because obviously you want me to go the extra mile. You want to be able to call me up at midnight. You want to be able to call me at the last minute. You want to be able to call me when you don't have stuff together. Because you know I'm so great and I can pull it off. And so if you were a Prime customer, you'd be charged a rush fee or whatever, and you're even better than Prime. You are friends and family, so it's 3 times. And they're like, oh, well, could you tell me what your regular rate is? Yeah, okay, so for the regular rate, here's what I offer. And again, so it's negotiating and contracting. And pricing. Do you want to be a premium provider, sort of the Neiman Marcus? Do you want to be Payless? Easily accessible? Folks that spend money with Payless, $9.99, they may buy in a quarter, they may spend $75. Folks that go to Macy's or Bloomingdale's might spend $30 twice a month. Well, now we're at 60 instead of 75. Folks that may buy shoes at Neiman Marcus, they might spend $300, but they'll only buy it once a year. 75 times 4 to pay less, we're still at 300. So it depends on your pricing strategy. Where do you want to be in the market? That's important. Preference. It doesn't necessarily go literally in this order, but again, it gets back at, for your customer, what's important to them. And you know that as people begin to experience things, they want more. So their preferences may change. And that's got to be something that you keep your ear to the ground. That's one of the reasons that the plans change on a regular basis. And it's not only your customers' preferences, but what about your competitors' preferences? What about the environment, regulations, etc.? And all of this is really around profitability. Because again, you're not in business unless you make money. And I'm not saying that money is the ultimate. I am saying that money is a metric, and the amount of revenues coming in has got to be bigger than the expenses. And large corporations have shown us that, one of the biggest expenses are people. customers the problems that you're solving and the value that you customers place on that solution, and then figuring out a way. That's why technology is so important. Technology helps organizations develop systems and processes so there is consistency, so there is variety. They need people who can understand what the next technology is. They need people who can say, well, I work with this technology and that technology. Let me move to R&D so I can help invent something that will help us 2 years down the road or 2 months down the road. So profitability is great. But the fact of the matter is, being an entrepreneur and starting a business does involve getting out of your head and into the head of the customer. It is not about you. It's much, much more about the 3 R's. Relationships. It's about results. You've got to perform. You've got to listen. Your customer has to perceive that you're in it for them. It's mutually beneficial. When they're excited, they tell other people. When they're excited, they buy it. They buy it at your premium price. And they become repeat customers. They make referrals. I'm Franne McNeal. And I'm a significant business results coach. What I do is work with people that see the possibility of a business idea and want to transform it